Have you ever stopped to think about the fans behind a band? What is it about the music that keeps fans coming back for more? Or is there more? My name is Renae Lipsmeyer, and I am the host of this podcast, The Space Between Podcasts, the podcast where we talk about the fans of the Dave Matthews Band. Each week, a fellow DMB fan joins the show to discuss their journey with the band. Welcome to the Space Between Podcast. Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Space Between Podcast, the podcast where we talk about the fans of a band that has been putting out music for over 30 years, the Dave Matthews Band. Who is this I speak of? Well, guys, I literally have over 100 episodes. I can't even believe that I'm saying that. 100 episodes where we talk about this band and the fans that surround this band. So every week I have a fan on my show to tell us their journey with this band that we love so much, the Dave Matthews Band. So of course I have a guest on this show today. Today I have, and usually I let them introduce themselves, but I'm just going to talk right through this. Today I have Jen Ryder on the show, and I am so excited about this episode. We have so much to talk about. So here's what I want. I'm going to let you talk just a little bit, Jen. Okay, tell us first of all, where do you live? And then tell us just what year, just so we kind of know like how long you've had a relationship with this band. Tell us what year you kind of started following this band, the Dave Matthews Band.
Yeah. So I live in Rhode Island, the smallest little state in the country.
The smallest, the baby state.
Small and mighty. Mm-hmm. Let's see. I started following them in 1996. My first show was October 6th, 1996. And that really was like my intro to the band. Like, I don't think before that show I even had any CDs. I was a sophomore at the University of Massachusetts. And back then, as some people don't know, you just had to go to the box office to get tickets and wait in line.
Before the internet.
Before the internet.
Well, before we had the internet.
I don't think we could do it on, I don't know if we could do it on the phone. Well, maybe we could. But I was the only one of all my friends that didn't have class at the time the tickets went on sale. And they said, will you go wait in line and buy us tickets? And I was like, for who? And like, oh, it's for Dave Matthews Band. And I'd heard of them, heard some of their songs. So I knew of them, but I wasn't like a fan.
Yeah.
So I said, sure, like, I'll go down, I'll wait in line.
Yeah.
It wasn't that many people in line. Went in, got like 6 tickets. Actually, I have the stub here. It was $23.50 for Lower Arena.
Holy shit. So this is 1996. Yeah. You have the ticket stub. Hold the ticket stub up to the camera. Just if you're watching this on YouTube, you'll actually be able. Jen has a ticket to see the Dave Matthews Band from 1996, October 6th, 1996.
Price is there. It's faded a little bit.
How much was it? $23.50 for a Lower Arena.
Lower Arena.
Oh my God.
So that was my first show. I think when I went to that show, the only song I knew was Ants Marching, and that was the closer from the encore. The show was it was phenomenal. Like, it pulled me in, and I'm like, who is this band? Like, they were just unbelievable. Like, I didn't know all the aspects of the violin and the horns, and like, it just blew my mind. And the song
what
that
were
really
you listening
caught
to?
me,
What were you listening to?
back
Just
then,
so we kind of know, where you were coming from.
I was listening a lot of hip hop. My brother was really into hip hop, so he always made me mixtapes. A lot of pop.
Yeah.
I was never really like grunge, but I dipped into rock a little bit. So, in college, I always feel like it was a little bit of everything. I didn't just stick in like one genre, so I was kind of always all over the place.
That's what you're finding yourself in college.
So it wasn't like I'm only going to listen to this one genre. Like, we had so many concerts that would come through campus, from 311 to Elton John, and then Dave Matthews came through and like blew my mind away. And the one song I can still replay in my head was Drive In, Drive Out, where they had these lights that went up and with the drums. I was blown away. I was like, I'm done. Like, I'm in. Sign me up.
You know,
Let's go to shows.
that particular song comes up often on this podcast as the song that hooked someone into this band. And I've heard anything from just how different it was from their other music to the ways like the melodies or the chords or, you know, all the way that the actual song is played. It's a captivating song, but would you consider that song a deep track? Like, is that if someone were just now kind of getting into the Dave Matthews Band and they heard Drive In, Drive Out, is that one that you think a new fan would know? And would you consider that a deep track? I mean, I don't know. There's not a book of that. Because
I think like back in those days, because they obviously didn't have the catalog that they have now, that song got played a lot.
Right.
So I wouldn't say it was a deep track. I think it's one that doesn't get as much airplay or stage performance as much anymore, just because of the vast number of songs they have now.
Right.
But it's one of those songs that I feel. I like it. I loved it live. I don't know if I had heard it on the CD, I would have had the same feeling the first time as when I saw it live, because just their stage presence is just, back then, 1996, they were 5 years into being a band. And even then, their stage presence was unreal. So that song was I just can still remember seeing it in my head. And just that was a song that I'm like, I'm going to go see this band again as much as I can. Because, 1996, you're like, oh, they'll probably be around a couple of years. And like every other band, and then here we are in 2024.
Here we are over 30 years. It's really hard to believe. I mean, obviously for most of our lives this band has been a part of it, whether you've been a listener or not for all these years. Like, it's just one of those bands that's always been around. It's it's for the majority of our lives, and so it's incredible to think that they're still continuing to put out music that's so relevant, that's so good, that's gaining the attention of young people, old people, people all over the world. And so, one of the things that I love about this podcast is, of course, it's allowed me to get to know a lot of the fans, because that's ultimately what this podcast is about, is the fan experience, the fan stories behind the Dave Matthews Band. And so with that, obviously, I've met a lot of people through this podcast. And so Jen, of course, is one of those people that I have met through this venture with this podcast. And it's been a lot of fun, honestly, because, we all have our place that we meet, whether it's at a show or online or whatever. But then, there's like that next level where like we got to meet in Vegas this year. I think that was the first time we'd ever met in person. Is that right?
Yep.
Yeah. And then kind of since then, like we work night shift. And so she's like the one person I know that will be awake when I'm awake and bored at work. And so I'm just like, hey, but also she wants to talk about Dave. So she's like right up there at the top of like, oh, I gotta message Jen. She's up and she wants to talk Dave, So it's been a lot of fun to get to know you, and thank you for texting me when I thought I was going to lose my mind at work, and like sometimes just talking about Dave Matthews Band was like one thing that was like, okay, yeah, I actually do want to like keep this job so that I can go see the band, right? Like I actually do want to do this. It's just like sometimes you have those moments.
Any random thought that occurs at 2 a.m, I was like, oh, Renae won't mind.
Oh God,
let me send this her way.
It's been awesome. And so, of course, with that, just kind of, you got to meet my husband in Vegas, and we're all three part of the DMB Fit Crew, which is a group on Facebook. On Facebook, there are, of course, if you're not on Facebook, social media in general is just one of those tools that we have. We can really kind of dig in and connect on deeper levels to fan bases, and there are fan bases of every band. There's a Taylor Swift fan base that is taking over the world, and there are podcasts about their fan base. And so it's an endless rabbit hole if you want it to be, but there's also so much good that comes from that. One of the groups that was started on Facebook was a group called the DMB Fit Crew, standing for the Dave Matthews Band Fit Crew. And of course, that group really just emphasizes a healthy lifestyle, and that's anything from physical health, mental health, spiritual health. And so Jen is part of that group. Her and my husband share in this crazy ass, I don't know why the hell they do this, but they're runners and they like to run like marathons and stuff. And I'm like, what is happening? What are all these people doing to their bodies? So my husband ran a marathon today. And so Jen has been like I just kept updating you like you were right here. Like okay, he's at the 25-mile mark, you know, whatever. So, but you know, she gets it, right? And you know, it's been so good to get to know you, and so thank you for being part of this show and for wanting to share your journey, because I mean you've got a lot of history, and so let's kind of dig into that. I know you've sent me so many pictures, and you've got so many ticket stubs and so many like collector items that I know people are going to want to see. So be sure to show the camera as we're talking about that. And guys, again, if you want to see these relics, these antiques of the Dave Matthews Band,
these paper items,
these tickets that you get physically mailed to your house. What? That's not happening anymore. So we have dinosaur bones from the Dave Matthews
not
Band.
Warehouse tickets. Ticketmaster tickets.
What? So yeah, I mean, there's so much good history. So be sure to check out the YouTube site if you're interested in seeing this visually. But again, just thank you for joining into this show. So Jen, let's dig in. Tell us everything. Where has this band taken you?
So I do want to mention that after that first show. So I was in college at Amherst, Massachusetts, which is a college town, kind of like similar probably to Charlottesville. And I went deep. Like I dove off into the deep end. I would go to Newberry Comics, which is at the time was more of a comic book CD store, which nowadays it's more records, but that's where you go to find your CDs. And every week I'd go to the Dave Matthews section. What singles could I find? Because I wanted every CD, I wanted every album, every live album, I wanted all the singles, because the singles had deep tracks on the other side. So you were getting the hits, but then you're getting the ones that maybe you haven't heard yet before. So
oh my goodness.
Yeah, I was doing blanks and postage, which not a lot of people know what blanks and postage are, but I was heavy into blanks and postage.
Tell us what that is.
I would search the boards. So blanks and postage are back in the day. I don't know how far it went, if it went to the early 2000s or not, where you would find someone that had a live show that you wanted, and you would send them blank CDs with return postage for them to burn the show for you, and then they would mail it back to you.
So this was like what people are calling tapers. So people that went to
tapers,
the shows and they literally taped the audio. And what they would do with that is trade it with people to hear different live versions of different songs. So just wanted to clarify if someone's kind of listening to this and going, what the hell are you talking about, lady? Because, you know, we are talking about like old school shit that doesn't happen anymore, and there's no reason for that to happen. So, you know, it just, there was not access to technology. And so we were doing the best we could. And so blanks and postage or whatever, you know, people were doing it.
Yeah, there was no, you know, couch tour to watch the shows or anything. It was you made an effort to get those shows, and I had shows I was chasing that I wanted, and so I can't even remember what the message boards were back then, like what they were through, because that was really like infancy internet age back then. And I had a list of shows, and they had this amazing show that they did with the Richmond Symphony Orchestra that was mind-blowing.
I bet.
That I was searching for, and anything I could find from like a Trax show or the Roseland Ballroom in New York City. I mean, I was chasing a list, and people would be like, well, what do you have to give me? I'm like, I have nothing. I'm just trying to build myself up here.
Exactly.
And
what do
some
you
people
want?
are really kind, and they, most people are really kind, and they they would tape it burn it for you and then send it off. But this is a process that, now we're used to like click, oh, I have the song on, on my phone now,
Yeah.
Back then it was like you search for the person, you email back and forth, make an agreement, then you mail out your CDs, wait for them to burn it, and then wait for them to send it back. So you're talking like from when the first contact, maybe like 4 weeks to get something back from someone. So
wow. I mean, you were just, but you really wanted the music. And I think that just kind of shows how much you were digging into the history of like, who the hell is this? And I want to hear everything they've done because why did you want to hear everything they had done? What was kind of the hook to wanting to dig deeper into the band?
The more I read about them through message boards and talked to people, it was just wanted to hear how they started and developed to get to where they were. Plus, they were touring, but they weren't always coming as regularly around, to the areas and stuff. So it was just a way to listen to them live and have more live shows to listen to, and just to hear more songs that they played, and songs that they played that may not have made an album for.
Yeah, which is so many.
A few more years. Yeah.
So still to this day, so many songs.
Look how long Break Free
took
to get onto an album. Like, that took
forever. Forever. But you know what? Maybe I like to think that this band knows exactly when we needed it. And I think we needed it in 2023, right? We were kind of just, I could read whatever into it, but like we were breaking free from COVID. A lot of people were breaking free in 2023 from all kinds of chains. And so there were so many people that needed that song that year. And so I like to think that, beautiful things happen like that where, I believe a lot of stuff, but like I believe that happened in its perfect timing. And yeah, we wanted it before, and we actually even got it before, right? Like it wasn't a song that had never been sang. It was, like you said, it was one of those songs that was kind of dangling out there like a carrot, like the band likes to do, like, oh, we got some stuff you want, but we're not going to give it to you unless you come to a show, right? And then you don't know what you're going to get.
And hope they play it.
Oh, and hope, but also so happy for whatever you get, right? Like I've met a handful of people in my experience working with fans that love this band. Not many people have said that they've walked away from shows unhappy. Have there ever been people that said, yeah, they were? Of course there are. But for the most part, people are genuinely happy with everything they get, even if it's not necessarily what they went into their wanting, right? Because we all kind of have that carrot, like, oh, I've never heard this live. This is what I'd like to hear. And often, more often than not, we never get that, or it takes years of seeing this band to get to that. But then that moment, you've seen that moment, you've had that moment of wanting and searching and like begging the band, like inside your head, like, please play this. And then for them to give it to you live, Jesus, there's some really good feelings in this world, and that right there is pretty good. I mean, at least for me. I don't know if that is the same.
And there's songs that change. There's songs now that they play live where I'm like Minarets. I love Minarets. Like, I don't know, 25 years ago, did I want to hear Minarets? No, probably not.
Right.
But now, it changes. Like, their music changes, and maybe it's the way they play it now. You just don't know. Like, the way they bring songs in, it changes year to year. I mean,
it really does.
How they play it. Like, I know you've mentioned before on the show, you never hear the same song twice when you go to a live show.
No.
They're always playing the songs different.
Kind of unheard of.
A tour is different. Yeah, a tour is different from an album year like last year, where they're supporting a new album, to this year, which is going to be different. Because now they're not supporting an album. They'll still play some of those songs, but it might not be as heavy because now they're not supporting the album. So
and I feel like, damn, I mean, I kind of went into 2023 because it was an album drop year thinking those exact thoughts of like, I kind of predicted this season, like it's going to be a heavy album tour, to be expected, right? Obviously, at the end of the day, this is a business, right? So you got to sell records, you got to do all these things, right? And so we kind of just, from a business standpoint, think, okay, this is going to be a heavy album tour, and I'm okay with that, right? Because it did not drop until May of that year, which was kind of when tour was starting. So we had not necessarily heard everything.
Day one. That was day one of the tour last year. Was
yes, I mean, their timing, again, their marketing genius people. They are getting us every damn time. But hell, where was I going? I got lost in Dave Matthews Band rabbit hole. Where were we going, Jen? Do you ever do that where you're just like, you're like going and you're like, oh fuck, where was I going?
We just ran with that one. So
we just got passionate about it. I was like, I'm like,
we're talking about taping, and then we just went.
Boom. I mean, it happens. And I tell my guests and I didn't tell you this because I mean, I kind of just, this, but I do tell my guests usually before we start recording, I'm like, listen, when talking about Dave Matthews Band, we are going to go down rabbit holes. One conversation is going to spark a memory or something, and we are going to go off on that subject, and that's not planned, but that's also really fun. And I think from a listener standpoint, I think it's fun to hear somebody have a conversation that is constantly shifting, right? Because otherwise it's kind of like boring, right? And I don't want to be that way.
But go down show by show and be like, and this year I saw them this many times. No,
I want to hear your excitement, and I think that we've done. That's what's awesome is I have not had to pull teeth on any of my guests to get passionate because they just already have it. We
don't want to stop talking about them.
No, and that's the beautiful thing is not a lot of us have if you do, great, but I don't. Jen, you can speak for yourself. I don't have just like a lot of local friends that listen to the band. So I don't have anyone that wants to hear it, right? But this podcast has been like awesome because I get to find constantly people that want to talk about it. But people inside this community really want to talk about it. And so there's a passion inside of all of us. There's an interest, right? And so then that brings a common thread. And so it's good to have a space to talk about Dave. Speaking of, and I keep going off topic, but again, we're doing that on purpose. I started a new voicemail, and Jen, I want to say that, I did. I played your voicemail on a previous episode. That's going to be, so that'll be out on season 5. So guys, be sure to continue listening to all of season 5. We are definitely into the 100s now, which just sounds insane. I can't believe that I've actually committed to something for this long, but it's because I love it. It's been so much fun. I love building relationships with people. That's what I've done I'm a nurse, but I've done a lot of marketing in the medical world. And so building relationships is something that I'm good at. I like doing it. And so this podcast has kind of just been a dream to get to know people that also have a common interest, which of course is my favorite band, the Dave Matthews Band. So we started
and we're all different too.
Every single person, people in every direction. It's wild. So I started this voicemail. Of course, Jen's called in already. It's the space between voicemail. You call this number, it goes straight to a voicemail. I don't answer the phone. It just says whatever it says. It says like the space between podcast, leave blah, blah, blah. It says whatever. But the phone number is 479-259-1630. And so I will put posts out on social media, and we're on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, just different topics like why do you think the Dave Matthews Band should be inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? What is your favorite? This has been a fun one. What is your favorite date night song from the Dave Matthews Band? A lot of questions of what date night meant, and yes, I meant sex, but I was like, let's say date night. Let's make them wonder what I'm talking about. I meant sex. Like, what's a good sex song for you and whoever you're doing it with when it comes to the Dave Matthews Band? And man, there's been some hysterical comments, and like some of them I won't even comment back on because I'm like, no, I'm not going down that rabbit hole of looking like whatever. So, but you guys are funny and keep writing that shit because I love it. It's hilarious. So you'll definitely have to read all those comments if you haven't already. Okay, so let's see. Let's listen to a couple of voicemails. My son's just walked in. Boys, do you want to be on the just say hi, and then you'll be on the podcast because I'm recording right now.
We need to say hi.
Just say hi.
come say hi.
They can hear you. You don't have to be on the camera.
Hi, everyone.
Hey, I have a almost 22.
Almost 22.
Hello.
Oh my God, he'll be
I'm
22 in
19.
August. He's 19. Yeah, it's hard to even
Have a
say,
good
but
one.
it's so much fun.
Did-
Bye, love you
didn't,
guys.
How you doing?
Just a mom living her life, recording a podcast about the Dave Matthews Band. That's me. Okay, so let's
Real
listen
life.
to some of. That's real life, and then the dog in the background, and my husband that's laying in bed because of
dog.
the
Your
marathon,
dog
right?
Good dogs everywhere. Dogs everywhere.
That's just life. That's just what I'm living, and dreading going back to work tomorrow because that's what I gotta do. Work that night shift again. I just
hear
got
ya.
back on days. It's so hard to flip flop. What am I doing to myself? Okay, so let's listen to a couple of voicemails and we'll talk about that. Okay, so first of all, thank you guys to everyone that has sent in their voicemail. Again, that number I said earlier, you can call and leave a voicemail, and it can be about anything. You can do a group shout out to your friends, to your group on social media. Tell me some DMB trivia. Tell me what I'm doing wrong. Man, I don't know. Just tell me something about the Dave Matthews Band. And so here we go. We're going to listen. This is from Christine in Idaho.
Hello, Renae, Christine. What keeps me coming back for more? Obviously, the music, the fact that this band, the lyrics have gotten me through some really tough times in my life, and also the fans and the people I've met. They have gotten me through so many things in my life. They continue to show up and be phenomenal people. And that is why I keep coming back for more.
I can't agree with her more. Like we've talked about this earlier, and
100%.
You know, it has turned into. I could have never dreamed, and I don't know. You know, obviously you've been doing this a lot longer than I have as far as having a relationship with this band, but that's just nothing that entered my mind when I went to see this band that I liked. Right, like I was just going to see this band that I liked, and it turned out to be so much more that I could have never expected, right? Because I don't know. I don't think you could ever expect like this community and what it turned out to be. I mean, when did you kind of first find out what the fan base was like around this band, and when did it kind of occur to you that, hey, maybe I just want to get connected with these people?
I think a lot of it, and you can probably agree with this, is the tailgating when you're at the shows. So that first show, because it was on a college campus, there was no tailgating. It was just, go to the show, go to the arena, and then you go back to your dorm. That's how it was. But the tailgating, because you're outside, you're having beverages, you're loosening up a little bit, and there you are talking to your neighbors because they're playing games and they're drinking, and they're like, hey, do you want some food? And then the people across from you are doing the same thing, and you just start chatting with everyone, and all of a sudden now you have like 20 new friends surrounding you, and you're like, hey, when can we meet up again, or what show are you going to next? And I think that's when you start realizing that the fans are pretty great, and they're not going to be assholes to you, and they're not going to try to running down an aisle and stuff to get a good seat or something. So I think when you have that community and that type of nice people, the people that are respectful, and they always mention be kind always, but I think that this fan base takes that above and beyond the way they help people out and the way they care about people they've never met before. And it's great. I've never seen anything like it.
Yeah, no, I haven't either. And I mean, that was the story for me is that exactly that is, there needs to be more good stories like this. And I say this probably every episode. We often turn on the TV and the first thing we hear on the news is hate and war and crime and just that will always exist. However, there needs to be a reminder that there is still good things happening in this world, and there is still love in this world, and there is still magic happening with great people that are involved. And those stories deserve, especially now, to be shown because people need it. Because, if all we hear is the bad things that are happening, we can lose hope, right? And that's everybody has to have a bit of that. And so this has just been such an amazing ride to see that there are so many people not only surrounding something that we love, because that's the common thread, right? Like, we love the same music, we're passionate about this band and really everything about it, but we also really, for the most part, want to strive to be good people and leave a legacy of love and acceptance. And so I think that's a beautiful story, and I hope that, you know, that this podcast can continue to be just a small ray of sunshine in a few people's lives. And so again, I'm so excited that you've been on. Let's listen to one voicemail. We're gonna keep popping back and forth into your story. Okay, so let's see. Carol,
I love these voicemails. These are great.
I do too. They're so much fun. Okay, Carol, this is from Carol.
All right, Carol.
Hi, this is Carol Driscoll. And the reason I keep coming back to see Dave Matthews Band is because every time you see them, you are always in awe. You never are bored. You never get tired. Every concert is better than the last. I've been saying that since 1999 when I saw my first show at Summerfest in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. And I'll keep on saying it till the day I die. Thank you, and hope I get played.
Carol, thank you so much for that.
It's true, Carol. That's true.
It's true. It's true. She is, oh man, all these voicemails, it's just like affirmations, right? It's like, yep, we're not crazy, right? Like, this is all really happening, and it's not just happening to me. It's happening to thousands of people, countless stories. Like, I was telling someone the other day, like, what my podcast is about, because it is something very specific in the world of podcasts, right? You know, typically a podcast can be very broad, right? Like, we're going to talk about murders, or we're going to talk about, you know, whatever.
The murder ones, yeah.
The murder ones take over, right? Like, there's a million true crime podcasts, and they're great, they're fun or whatever, but, you know, typically broad subjects. When you get to mine, I have just like carved into a piece of wood as far as I could to get to a very specific topic of the fans around a band. Not about the band. Yeah, we talk about the band, obviously. That's what we love. And there's exciting things we want to talk about. But this podcast is about the fans around this band. And so I was trying to explain to them like how very specific that was. And I've been told, well, damn, that's a very unique look at what music can do. And I'm like, that's the fucking story. And what's awesome is there are at least 35,000 stories, right? We joke that that's the amount of Dave Matthews Band fans. That's not true. There's more. There's more than that, because I mean, Dave and the boys are in Europe right now. There's fans all around this globe. So there's more than 35,000. But that's the joke, that if you've never heard that before, that the Dave Matthews Band has 35,000 fans, and those fans travel to each show and go to each show. There's a lot of truth in that, but just not in those numbers. Just not in those numbers.
It seems like it on this Europe tour. I see the same heads every couch tour stream.
It's so good. It's so good. And I mean, that may seem so foreign to people. Hell, it's foreign to me. But I like to remind myself that we are not spring chickens anymore. And I'm not saying that there are no spring chickens, and I mean that by like teens, early tweens, because that's my children's age. And so I'm talking like a mama. I don't mean that in a negative way, but like my children's ages. For the most part, I'd like to say this fan base is a seasoned adult. You know, just we're seasoned, we're in our prime, and there's some work been put in behind us, right? Like, we have gotten to a certain stage of our lives, and there are a lot of people that are near retirement. There are a lot of people that have worked really hard for 30, 40 years. And also, there's a lot of changes that have happened because of COVID, because we have the ability to work remote, right? So you could be anywhere in the world. And why would you not just want to be in Italy right now, right? Because, I mean, there's just so many different scenarios and so many great ways to travel now in 2024 that's not... it's not as crazy as it seems. And also, you know, I'm sure you know this, Jen, because I know that you now travel a lot. There are a lot of tips and tricks if you really dig in to travel, ways to save money, ways to kind of get into this community and do like house shares. There's just ways, if you get into the fan base, that it's really a lot cheaper to travel to see the band than one would imagine. I mean, is that kind of what you found in your years of traveling? Is there's just some things you've caught on to along the way that make it easier for you?
I feel like when you go to shows and you meet people, and then especially this day and age where it's so easy to stay connected with everyone, that if you're going to go to a show, and like next month in Florida, like I'm staying with people that I met when I went to South Africa in December. So it's not so much like you're staying and you're booking hotels and you know. I had numerous people that said, "Oh, you're coming to Florida, you can stay with me," and it's great because you have those options now where you're not paying $200 a night for a hotel. You have people you can stay with and then go to the show with. So like, I don't know about these venues in Florida. I've never been to them, but these people do. Now, my new friends, my expanded family with the Dave Matthews Band, now I'm hooking up with them, and we're going, you know, to shows in Tampa. Then we're driving to West Palm. We're going to shows there. And, you know, before it would just been, I'm going to go down to these shows. Maybe I'll meet up with some people, and then I'm going to drive myself over. But now it's like you have all these new people you've met that go to a lot of shows, and you can connect and say, okay, who's going to this show? You just put one post out. Who's going to this show? Okay, and then you have 5 people that you can try to like coordinate plans with. It's great. Yeah.
I really want to dig into your South Africa trip because that just happened December of 2023, of course. And so I want to dig into that. But I do want to talk about what did I want to talk about? It was right there, Jen. What did I want? It was going to be good, man. It's those moments where I'm like, some good shit's about to come out, and then I'm like, no, just skip it. Okay, well then it'll pop back into my head later, and I'll be like, guys, this is what it was, and it'll be great. So let's jump into South Africa. So, of course, the band announces that they're doing a bit in South Africa. And so for those of you that are listening that you're like, is there any significance? Is this just like a place that, because, you know, they're in Italy right now. Is there any significance to Italy? I don't believe so. But like, was there significance behind the South Africa trip? Why did you decide that this was a trip that you wanted to like literally travel across the world to go see this band?
So they announced it in June of 2023, and being that it was an album year, I was holding out for a European tour. I'm like, I'm going to save my vacation time. I'm going to go to Europe, and then I'm going to hit a bunch of shows, and it's going to be great. And then all of a sudden, they announced South Africa, and I think they announced it on like a Thursday, and they're like, yeah, tickets go on sale Wednesday. It was a very, very short period of time. It was less than a week when the tickets went on sale. And so I thought about it. I was like, that's just crazy. That's just crazy. It's so far. And then I was like, well, it's December. It's before Christmas. Not a lot of people take time off of work in the first couple of weeks of December.
True.
So I looked at it. I looked at flights. And within a couple of days, I was like, you know what? I'm going to go. I'm going to go. You know, and so for people that don't know, and a lot of us do, but for people that don't know, Dave is from South Africa. So to go and see him where he was from, and they hadn't been there since 2014, I think, or 13 was the last time they were there. So they hadn't been there in a long time. And who knows if they're ever going to go back? Because as we know, the boys are aging. So
they can
who knows if they're ever going to go back
benefits.
again? I feel like
Carter can.
I felt like Carter can.
Yeah. Maybe Tim. I don't know how old he is, but Medicare's coming up on you, boys. It's good health insurance, though. I'm a nurse. I know.
Travel discounts. No.
Travel. Hey.
I felt like that South Africa came up at the perfect time. Like, this is going to be once in a lifetime. I don't know if they're going to go back there. Will they go back to Europe again? It's possible. It's more possible they'll go back to Europe again before they go back to South Africa. So let me get a ticket. So tickets went on sale, and It was, through Warehouse, but it shot you into Ticketmaster, and you get to pick your seat. So it wasn't I wonder what the Warehouse is going to send me. It was, here's the pre-sale code. You go into Ticketmaster, and you pick your seat, and I ended up with the front row right in front of Dave. So I stood there and was, I don't know, 7 feet from Dave for 3 hours. So
oh my god,
it was great.
So what was South Africa like? Like, I mean, I'm thinking in my head, just from like TV and the internet and stuff, very like safari. Like, is that what you experienced?
It can be. I only went to Cape Town. I didn't go to the show in Pretoria.
Okay.
I had only, I think, 8 days to use to outside my travel days. Yeah. So I didn't want to spend that with traveling within the country. So I just did Cape Town. So I went in, I got there the Friday. The concert was a Tuesday. I got there on Friday. And Cape Town's a wonderful city. It's beautiful. It's clean. People are friendly. It was great. It was a great city. I did a lot of traveling outside the city within a few hours drive. But Cape Town it was one of the best cities I've ever been to. I've been all over the world. It's probably one of the best cities I've ever been to.
Wow.
It was December, so it was warm. It was like right at the beginning of their summertime.
Oh wow.
So being able to, coming from New England where it's cold, going down there in
true.
December and having on
it's
shorts,
like vacation
t-shirts every day.
Oh,
like you didn't want to leave, and it's
True.
Christmas time, but not really Christmas time because it's warm out. Oh, it was great. The show blew me away, and you don't know what to expect because seeing them in a different country, it's not like seeing them here, where you're tailgating. You might have been drinking for a few hours before you go in, and you go in, scene. And it's it's a little bit different. It was a little bit more relaxed, but it was phenomenal. It was the stage is smaller, as like you've probably seen in Europe. Like the stage is a little bit smaller because they're renting equipment for everything.
Right.
But you're right there. I was right there, and I've never been that close. That was the closest I've ever been.
Wow.
You couldn't stand at the rail. They made you leave about a 3-foot space between your seat and the rail so that people could walk by. I don't know if they were worried about it was a security thing because it was all, there was no pit. It was all seats on the floor.
Gotcha. That
was a little weird because like, how do you resist going to the rail when it's 3 feet in front of you? It's like right there, but
I know, especially like if your song, starts playing and then you just like kind of lose your mind for that second. You're up on the rail and you're like, oh, okay, I'll scoot back.
Yes. And then for the encore, they let us move up to like 1 foot from the rail, but not on the rail. It was weird.
Yeah.
That aspect of it was weird, but the show is just, it was probably one of my favorite shows
really?
That I've ever been to. I'm praying, hoping for a live track from it, but who knows?
Oh yeah, you never know because it's like they perform these live venues, and then that live album may not come out for years to come. So you kind of just never know if you're. I got really lucky. If you're watching this on YouTube, you can see that I got a couple albums behind me. I love to talk about this one because I got 4 on my wall behind me. One of these is. Live at Hollywood Bowl, September of 2018. And, obviously that wasn't that long ago. But why I think it's fantastic is because it wasn't that long ago. And it came out very unexpectedly. No one knew at the time of the concert that it was going to be on album. Like, I didn't know that, of course. But that was Justin, my husband's very first show. And of course, being at the Hollywood Bowl, I mean, Jesus, he got the symphony or the orchestra with the whatever. It was like the most beautiful first show one could have, but he didn't, and he'd tell you now, he didn't appreciate it at the moment because he met the Dave Matthews Band when he had met me, and that was in September. We had just started dating in June, so our relationship was just very new. So he's just now starting to hear about the Dave Matthews Band. And matter of fact, because that's in California, I live in Arkansas. Of course, there had to be like that conversation of, hey, do you want to go to California? And that's literally how I asked him. I was like, hey, do you want to go to LA with me? And he was like, yeah, like when, it was the weekend, or I don't even know when it was. I didn't tell him right at first. I mean, I was like, you want to go to LA? And then I'm going to get the yes. And then I'm like, also, we're going to see a Dave Matthews Band concert. And he was just like, oh.
By the way.
Okay. But like the whole time, that's what the trip was for. It was to see the Dave Matthews Band. But I
feel like that's how like people, like when I said I was going to South Africa, and everyone's like, oh my God, you're going to South Africa. It's so exciting. What are you doing there? I'm like, I'm going to see Dave Matthews. They're like, what?
People are like, are you insane? You know that he plays here, right? Like he will play here.
You know he plays
soon.
Like 20 minutes away from here, right? I'm like, yeah, I know.
Why are you going to, that sounds
Don't worry,
insane.
I'm going to that show too. Don't worry. But you know.
Have you been kidnapped? What?
Yeah. That's the reaction I get. It's like, oh wow, it's so cool. You're going to South Africa. What are you going to do there? And it's like, oh, I think I'll see Dave Matthews Band.
This whole thing I know must look, you know, we all have those friends who don't get it, right? I mean, like we all have them because we all work outside of, you know, for most of us, we have, you know, relationships outside of the Dave Matthews Band, whether that's your boss, your coworker, your aunt, your uncle, whoever, your kid. People don't get this, right? Like when we, for those of us that really have kind of caught on to that, going to see the band and the chase in seeing them whenever we can, and sometimes that may look like every 5 years. It may be I've seen them once and I've been a fan for 30 years. For some people it's, you know, I've been to over 500 shows. Like there's just so many different ways a fan life looks like. But man, this whole thing about chasing a band has really just kind of changed my life, right? Because it's no different. It's no different than someone loving the Dallas Cowboys and traveling everywhere to see their favorite football team, whoever that is, the Packers. I can't name too many NFL teams. Hey, the Kansas City Chiefs. I'm in Arkansas. I'm like 3 hours from Kansas City. Hey, we got some good football. I have to say that because the Arkansas Razorbacks just have not been able to play football well lately. So we gotta be happy for those Chiefs. We got a close football team. But you know, it is no different than something like that. It's just for a band versus a sporting team. But just to fall into this, it sounds so crazy to so many of our friends and loved ones and bosses when we ask for PTO and they're like, oh, you know, you're going on vacation. You'd be like, yeah, I'm going to Indiana, or I'm going to, you know, whatever your state is, Idaho. I'm going to Washington to go out to the middle of nowhere. You know, like whatever the state is, I'm going to Arkansas, right? Like there's some red flags raised, like, what are you doing? What are you doing there? You know, like that doesn't really sound like your typical vacation time. But for us, we've really kind of found something that makes us really happy. I mean, do you think that for you and all of your experience with this band, have you found some feeling with this band, something that's kind of helped you, like, gosh, when times are not great, when we have those seasons of life that are not exactly what we ever saw, you know, coming our way, like, has the band's music or this community, or maybe even both, really kind of helped you in a relationship way, in a feeling, I mean, does any of that sound familiar to you?
I think that a lot of times for me, it's a lot of times when I'm exhausted, because I do tend to work a lot of hours sometimes when I'm tired, or just kind of, and I know some of my friends that went to South Africa can vouch for this too. When we came back from South Africa, we were in like a Dave depression. It was, we were on this high of highs in South Africa, and then we came, you know, we like met all these new people, and we're all hanging out, and we came back and we're all like, oh, it's over. Like, not that it's over forever, but, you know.
It's over for right now.
You got so used to hanging out with everyone. And, you know, so you know, even now I still reach out to a bunch of them, like, on a pretty much weekly or twice a week basis, and talk to them and see what's going on with them, and talk to them about Dave. Like, you and I talk about Dave a lot, and in the wee hours of our shifts. And
2 a.m. and everyone else is asleep.
Check out my bag. Look at my water bottle.
Woo, we're showing each other our new stickers.
I think that I think for me, when I'm kind of like missing the shows and missing my Dave family and stuff, it's easy to reach out to everyone and just get that pick me up, or put on YouTube and find some live shows and just stream those. And it's okay, like, okay, we're gonna be back to them soon. They're not going forever yet. It's gonna come soon. We're not gonna talk about that. But when we're in these few weeks in between shows, it helps push you through. And I've been lucky. I haven't had a lot of really like bad times in my life where I've been, searching for something to bring me back up. I do feel like those days where I'm just kind of dragging a little bit, or maybe it's rained for a week straight like it's been doing here. It's it pulls you out of the gloom, and you put on a song and you just jam to and you have a good time, or in the car and jamming out in the car and stuff and having a good time. And on that ride to work when you're going to be there for 16 hours, it's like, let me just put on some Dave and it's gonna psych me up and get me ready to work. And
yes.
I think it's good for me I use them a lot just to get psyched up and get excited about stuff, whether it's going to work or, going to work out or anything. They're a good motivator for me, and they really pump me up all the time.
I mean, it helps me do everything, like you said, from going to work.
Cooking.
Sometimes I need to be, it's the smallest things. It's, wiping the tables down at home. It's getting that housework done, because I need motivation to get that kind of stuff done sometimes, because, at the end of the day, we're just tired, and it's so hard to find these moments where we can just kind of let it all go. But that is what the Dave Matthews Band is for so many people, is kind of that moment where you can just kind of turn the world off in a good way, and just kind of escape and regroup and get the motivation and the courage, or whatever it is, to continue on. And so it's a beautiful thing. I believe that music really is I want to say medicine. I don't know if that's the right word, but it's such a good word for what music can be for your soul. If they can say that chicken soup is for the soul, I can say that music is for the soul, right? And so
music definitely is.
Yeah, it can really just turn your mind around. It can turn your heart around. It really can do so many things.
Stir up a memory for you, or
yes, a time machine.
It can just do so much.
Yeah,
music therapy is something that people definitely need to utilize more, and it's great. It's just, there's so many times I listen to a song, I was like, oh, I remember that live version. Or there's sometimes I have been doing something, and that song reminds me of what I was doing at that time, or or reminds me of that concert was great with that person, and it's great. Just having those memories and having them linked to Dave and to his music and to certain songs.
Yeah, great. It's crazy. It's crazy. Well, hey, I know you've been a fan for a while, and so part of season 5 is paying tribute to how this podcast really kind of came about. If you've heard my story, if you haven't, it's definitely available in somewhere in the 100 plus episodes that I have, but definitely season 1, season 2 is where you're going to find why it is that I started this podcast. But a lot of that stems from my career as a nurse, going through COVID, and just kind of how I found my sanity after going through that. And so I started this podcast all because I had started a Facebook group where we did weekly Dave Matthews Band trivia. And so it was such a hit, because if you'll remember back during the pandemic, most of us, I obviously had to go to work. I was a nurse, but like a lot of people stayed at home to do their work. And so there was that missing human component of being with others. And so we really kind of found some help with that through online groups, through a lot of these Facebook groups and social media outlets, to connect with others. That's when Zoom meetings first started happening, was because we had to have a way to face-to-face connect with people. But that really wasn't something that we'd ever gone through a pandemic like that. And so that is what this trivia kind of was born through. So I'm excited to be doing this as part of the new changes for season 5. So Jen, I have this fancy little book. It's like a binder, official Dave Matthews Band trivia. Everything is typed, and it is like legit stuff. And so as we're doing this trivia, if you guys, I would love more Dave Matthews Band trivia. And Jen, I know you have a lot in your head because you've been through so much, so I want you to send some to me, but I'd love for you guys to send me in some trivia questions to add to this show. And of course, if you do that, I'll definitely give you a shout out on the show for that trivia coming from you. But a way that you can do that is through my Google voicemail, which again, I don't answer that. You just leave a voicemail at this number, which is 479-259-1630. So be sure to do that. Okay, so here we go. Let's do something controversial, shall we?
Let's do it.
Shall we? Let's just go right to the meat and potatoes of this trivia. I have some sections in my trivia book, and one of these sections of my official Dave Matthews Band trivia book, which I'm such the nerd that packs this in my car during tour season and takes it from show to show for the chance that anybody mentions trivia. And then I'm that girl that's running to my car going, I have got a book of trivia.
Let me write it down.
And so I love this book. So definitely call me if you have some added stuff. Or if we get this wrong, call me in a polite way and say, hey, here's actually what the answer is, because of course a lot of this is gathered from the internet. I have not had an opportunity to sit down with the Dave Matthews Band and fact this at 100%. So please excuse us if some of these answers aren't perfect, but definitely let us know through the voicemail, because I definitely want to try to give the most accurate information as I possibly can. Okay, so this section is called Pillow Talk. It's going to be kind of like my date night post. We're going to talk about sex, because if there are two things that the Dave Matthews Band talks about, they're going to talk about sex and drugs. And I'm sorry, but that is what they're going to talk about in a lot of their songs. So you kind of got to be a bit comfortable with it. So I feel like if you're listening to a Dave Matthews Band topic podcast, you're gonna be okay with all of this. Jen, I know you are. I'm not catching you off guard here by wanting to talk about sex, drugs, and rock and roll. How dare I? How scandalous.
I don't listen to those songs that involve sex. Come on.
How dare you? How dare you? Okay, so I wrote a tour through the Dave Matthews Band catalog will reveal to you not only lines dripping in sexual innuendo, but if I kill your fascination, it will actually kill your fascination with the celebration of, I think my son is in the next, Joshua. This has gotten really weird with my kid walking. I don't even care though. Okay, so I'm going to start over.
Okay.
Okay, whatever. It is what it is. Okay, a tour through the Dave Matthews Band catalog reveals, of course, that there's so many lines dripping in sexual innuendos, but there's a lot of celebrating cunnilingus. There just is. Dave talks about it. He talks about going down on women multiple times throughout his catalog. It's something that happens. People have sex. Is that a surprise?
That's how we all got here.
Oh my God, that's how we all got there. So you know what? We're adults. We can talk about it. We can celebrate the fact that we can have sex, and it's a beautiful thing. And so that is what this topic is about, or the Dave Matthews Band and sex. And so I'm going to say some lines from a song, and you're going to tell me what song that is. Okay, so I'm going to repeat it twice for those of you that are listening at home. I'm going to repeat it twice, give you some time to kind of think about that as you're driving or as you're running or cleaning the house, whatever you're doing listening to this podcast. Thank you so much. So Jen, if you know the answer right off the bat, just kind of hang on for just a minute and then say it. But if you don't, that's cool too, because this is going to be a learning show, right? Like we're going to learn some more about this band that has like over 30 years of history. So, okay, here we go. Here's the lyrics. So hard not to sing it. Okay. Open wide, oh so good, I eat you. Okay, open wide. Dun, 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 dun.
It's hard when you speak the lyrics. It's hard when you say it. Like,
I know it is. Go ahead, type it in your phone. See what happens. I love it. It's like phone a friend, but your friend is Google. Welcome to 2024.
Phone a friend in 2024.
Hey, so I was recording a podcast with someone the other day, and we were doing trivia, of course, and she didn't know, and she literally did pick up her cell phone and call a friend that was also a big Dave Matthews Band fan, and he answered, and I was like, man, look at the evolution of this podcast.
I never, I think I have to hear that in the song in order to, now that I know what it is, I can hear it.
I could have swore, before we say what the song it is, I could have swore it says, feels so good it itches. That's not it. But that's what I thought he was saying.
Wow.
Okay, so tell us what the song is.
I did not know. Can I say it now?
Yes, say it.
It's Rapunzel.
Yes. Open wide. Oh, so good I eat you. Is that for real?
Yeah. But then, you think about it, and it's like, oh, now I'm playing the song in my head. I'm
it makes total sense.
Boy, Dave.
We might just be the last two humans on Earth that didn't know that, but I swear to God, right now, it's in my book, and it didn't even soak into my head. Oh, and now my mind is blown.
Hips locked up so tight you drive me crazy.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Is that on a date night playlist for somebody?
Hell yeah, it is. You didn't even know. Rapunzel needs to be in those comments.
Did not know.
Oh.
I love that song. I was like, oh my God, I'm never going to think about it the same ever again. It's like, Dave, you dirty little man.
Damn. So many things we could say, but he's a married man and so I'm a married woman. And Jen, you can say it all, girl. Say it.
I can. Single boy, send this out.
Hey! If you are in Rhode Island or if you love the Dave Matthews Band, check out Jen Ryder.
Come find me in Florida.
Yes. Be at okay, so let's do another one. And again, this is still pillow talk. So I'd rather be licking you from your back to your belly.
Ooh, I love this song. I gotta play it in my head now.
So one more time, I'd rather be licking you from your back to your belly.
Wait, I just had the tune in my head and then you spoke again. Now I lost the beat.
Ooh, let me sing it. I'm not going to be good at this, but I'd rather be licking you from your back to your belly. Oh, think that I'm going to. Do you know what
oh my God, I'm singing the whole song in my head.
I'm doing it terrible. I'm not a musician.
I'm singing the whole song in my head, but I'm trying to get to the end of it now.
This song is often used with initials. This is an animal song. I'm giving you, I'm going to keep.
I know. Now I'm going to go to my albums because I'm pretty sure I know albums.
I'm going to give you a clue, but it's not part of the title. Banana.
Banana?
Yeah.
Oh, Shake Me Like a Monkey?
Yes! Girl, we need to be on that game show. Ding, 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 ding. You are on a game show right now. Welcome to the space between. You did it. Okay, here we go. You know how I love to go down on you, but the joy is steeped in sin.
What? Dave. Am I just singing these? Am I just singing these songs at the concerts and not even paying attention to what I'm saying?
I have no idea because it's funny. There's that moment where you realize you've been singing the song wrong for 30 years, right?
Not singing it wrong, just not listening.
Just singing it different or not listening. I mean, I love those moments though because it's where the hell did I get that? But that's a very common thing because they say it so fast. They say it so fast, and I would never know.
Sometimes you'll go and you'll be like, hey, let me just follow these lyrics one time through the song, and I was like, I never knew that's what they said. Because like you hear it the first time, and you just go with that for like 30 years, and then all of a sudden like I was completely wrong about that line in that song.
I love looking up song lyrics because I don't know what the hell they're saying. Honestly, most of the time I'm just like, okay, I think I got a few words there. Yep.
Until you're streaming it on the couch tour and you start singing those words, everyone's like, it's totally wrong. Totally wrong.
I fucking love it though. It's so good. Like,
that would be me.
I love it. I love it. And you know what? Yes, we are not perfect. And in those moments, we can laugh at each other in love, right? Okay, so yeah, let's go back to it.
Yeah.
You know,
so I totally forgot what you said now. Let's go back to the lyrics.
So you know how I love to go down on you, but the joy is but the joy is steeped in sin. I'm making it so serious. And this is one of his more like whimsical songs.
What?
It's just like,
is this song? No way. Like,
do you see it? Do you see it?
I'm trying to find it in the song.
This is going to be the part where he goes, you're gonna make me sing it. He's kind of like, I hear him saying it, and he says it so damn quickly. And I want to say that he says this in the live version in New York. What was that? The Dave and Tim. What is the name of that place in New York City?
Luther College, no, that's Indiana.
That's in Iowa. That's a Dave Matthews Band trivia.
Out there.
Yeah, that's one. Yeah, it's a state in the United States somewhere. Whatever it is. Okay, so anyways, they did. Yes, exactly that. So I remember him saying this. I can't sing it for you. So we'll go to the next one. Okay, we'll stay with that exact same song.
What song was that?
Cornbread.
That's what I thought. And I'm like, never listened to the lyrics. Like, I hear them.
Yes.
Don't listen to it.
It's so quick, just the way he says all of this. And so it's interesting. And often Dave changes what he says, right? So it's kind of like, he has the freedom to do that. He wrote the song. He can do whatever he wants to it. So here's some more of those, maybe from Cornbread. Let's see if this rings any bells. See you there behind the miller's shed, that dirty little boy, you giving him head. It is. It's facts. Cornbread. It's such a dirty song. But that's what makes it fun, is it's like, I don't know, to me, every time I hear it, I'm like in Louisiana, like, I don't know why, but like I'm in Louisiana, like just, I don't know. It's such like a Southern, like vibe-ish song. I don't know. And then to make it so fun about sex, unless you listen to those lyrics, it's hard to pick up on. And I think that's just some clever artwork, sir. Clever. Okay. I'm going to take you up to, I'm going to take down on you. I'm going to hold you like an angel. Down on you. I like it when he says that part. Down on you.
Like an angel.
This is so good, man. I just, like, when we talk about this, like, it takes me to a concert where I can hear him, and like I feel the lights and just like everything. It's such a warm feeling. It's such a good feeling to think about hearing these lyrics in your head. So I'm going to read it one more time for those of you that are listening. I'm going to take you up to, I'm going to take it down on you. I'm going to hold you like an angel. Not a singer. Just FYI.
No.
I like to sing, but I am not
good
at it.
This is a song I said they're going to play at their last concert because that's how I'm going to feel. It's going to be When the World Ends.
When the World Ends. That's a great song. Oh my God, it's so good. This is one of my favorite sex songs. This is one of my favorites. So here we go. Sour as my fingers, dirty pickpocket. I can still taste you. and I won't wash my hands.
That's a good one. Now I gotta play it. Now I gotta play it in my head like the way he sings it, not the way you're saying it.
Sour as my fingers, dirty pickpocket. I can still taste you. I can't sing it. It's very low, and I won't wash my. I can't sing it. He's so low at that part. And Buddy does such a great job right now of helping in 7. I mean, so good. It makes it so sexy, and this song is already sexy, but like, so good. Have you figured it out?
That's another song that they don't play, and they played it today.
Today, best one. So today we're recording when they did Florence, Italy. Banger of a show. I've been watching the set list. This one was good. Of course, they got 7, and so, man, this one was good. And they also got the space between, which I'm partial to. I am. So, okay, what song? This is 7.
7, that song.
Yeah.
I love the opening of that song.
So good. So, sour as my fingers, dirty pickpocket, I can still taste you. I won't wash my hands was from 7. I will spoon you in, the sweetest thing in all the world. This is a harder one. And you can totally phone your friend.
I know, I'm phoning.
It's hard.
It's hard, like, and like this game is good when you say the lyric and you have to picture it and you're like try to put the tune to it. But also the other way around, when you get the tune and no lyrics, and you're like,
oh yeah,
what song was that? And you're trying to like get the lyrics to go with it.
I could do like a whole game show channel with games from the Dave Matthews Band. Like,
it'll never end.
Let's do it. Wheel of Fortune, got you. Jeopardy, got you. I mean, we can do Supermarket Sweep Dave Matthews Band version if you want. I will come up with it. Let me know. Give me a call.
Yeah,
call my voicemail with any jobs.
Grab that Sperry poster.
How much is it worth? Who spent the most money? Oh my God! You get the golden ticket. The whole thing, man. It's a dream. Okay, so what song do you think that is?
Oh, can I hear it again, please?
Okay, I will spoon you in, the sweetest thing in all the world.
Can I have it to a tune, please?
No. Because honestly, I don't know that I can't pull this one up.
It's hard
in my head. This is a song, maybe a little less more you know it, because you're such a seasoned fan, and you love Deep Trucks, but Belly Full.
Oh, Belly Full. That album, Away from the World, is like one of my favorites, and they don't play. I mean, they have so many songs, but I wish like they would just incorporate one song from that album every time. Can I get some Alligator Pie, please? Come
on now, yeah.
Like from Grugux King, and like, man. Please. I know. I'll never be disappointed in anything they ever play. No. Because I'm always like, oh yeah, that song's great, and that song's great. And then you leave and you're like, man, they had like 50 more songs they could have played. Let's just go all night.
I mean,
play the catalog.
I think, if someone can just come up with a hefty amount of cash, and I mean a hefty amount of cash, I think the band is down to be like hired for private shows. And I think at that point, if you're paying the millions that it would cost to get a couple of days out of them, you could probably write your own songs. As far as
I'm making the set list today.
Yeah. I'm sorry, I just paid you $10 million. I'd also like to write the set list. But then also, I kind of feel like that may take away the vibe from the band, because when they perform what they want to perform, there's an energy that comes along with that. And even maybe an emotion or a feeling, or maybe they've had a hell of a day, right? Because like they're still people too. Dave's got kids. A lot of them do, they still have all the human things going on as well. And so, if they're having a bad day, do they really feel like getting out there and singing, whatever song, And so I feel like you can kind of get a vibe from the band and maybe even kind of sync up with them of like, okay, well, okay, this is, I came to receive maybe a little more energy, but the band really needed to put this out.
Yep.
And so, you know, just having that respect of like, okay, you know what, and not being disappointed in that because, you know, I want the band to enjoy doing what they do. I think that that's a really important key to them and their longevity is that they love what they do.
It's like telling an artist what colors to paint with. You know,
Yes.
you let them paint the picture for you.
Agreed.
You let them pull it together and give you their artistry, not you tell them how you want it done. So,
Exactly.
and you never know,
Exactly.
like, is it Carter's birthday? Maybe Carter wants to jam out a little bit on some solos and
Yes.
add some more drum heavy songs, or you just don't know. Maybe they just had like a phenomenal experience that day and they're like, you know, 4-song encore tonight. It's like, hey, great, let's do it.
Can you imagine, like, you know, we're all humans. We all have those disagreements and, you know, like moments where we're just like maybe not the nicest, you know, towards our spouses or to someone else. But like, you know, maybe we're having a disagreement, if you will. How cool would it be like, to, you know, if Dave and his wife had a little tiff, you know, nothing major, but like he just needed to kind of get some aggression out, get on stage and sing Halloween, love as hell.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
That's
hello,
exactly what I
that's
was
a
thinking.
drug.
Yeah, let's scream that one out. You know,
Yeah,
Get it
I
all
mean, I
out
think
in
he
that
can
song.
get some of his feelings out that way and a way to express that song all, you know, as an artist. There's so much that can be said about their ability to show emotion in that music because I think it makes it more powerful when, you know, got you to think about Buddy, right? And like all the energy that you can feel just from his smile and his charisma and like the way he's like moving around. And can I just give my shirt a shout out? Look at this shirt, man. Rashawn head. This was too good for me not to show anybody. I threw it on before. I was like, Justin, I got like 5 minutes to be on a podcast with Jen, and so this shirt was the first thing I saw, and I was like, there's never been a better time to wear this shirt.
Perfect. It's perfect. You know,
Okay,
I
so-
would like to see.
Go ahead.
I'm gonna give an opinion on something, and
Ooh, I like it.
now I love Dave and Tim. I think it's a great show. I've been to a few, and it's just, as you know, it's more intimate. You get a lot of talking. But anyone that has seen the COVID show with Dave and Carter, just the two of them jamming out, can we get a Dave and Carter tour, please? I think that
The
would
one
be
where they're in the
Dave
studio
and Carter
and they're like
only.
behind the glasses, like behind
Yeah.
the glass. Yeah, that was so incredible.
It was
And
great.
it was so good, but it takes me back to a time where that was a big deal for them to even be in the same building together, right?
Well,
At
and he
that
put the
moment,
mask on
right?
to move between the rooms and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh God. Oh God, how far we've come, and I'm so thankful that we are
If
not in
someone
that.
hasn't seen that on YouTube, I think what they call it, the warehouse. I think they call it the warehouse session.
Maybe. I don't
That's what they call it.
remember.
It's on YouTube, and it's like you can watch the whole thing on YouTube from their house, the studio in their house.
So good.
Great.
Oh, so good. That was
Great.
such a kind thing for them to do, but also just proof that they want to do it, right? They didn't have to do that. That could have been time for them just to have some time off to invest in their family, but you know. But also, you know, they're dads. You know, we all need that that thing, right? To like get out of the room and just have an hour to ourselves. And maybe that was what that was for them. Was just some
And that
time
was-
to.
8 months into COVID when they did that, so it was a little bit more freedom at that point. And I think they also
yeah.
saw a lot of other musicians were contributing in that way, and just a way to kind of pick us up like they always do.
Yeah, it was perfect timing. I know a lot of people were so happy, so happy. Okay, so Jen, I mean, I know that you have so much history. So if you have, you know, 2 or 3 more minutes where I know you've got some stories that you want to share or some memorabilia that you really want to show us in the last couple of minutes that we have
Okay.
in this episode. What do you have for us?
I'm gonna tell you the one story that I've been dying to tell from South Africa. It was my meeting with Dave in South Africa. So
Okay, yes.
let me grab. I have it over here. Let me grab my. So here
She's
we
got
are.
a picture, guys. Oh my goodness. Look at this. So tell us everything. How did
So,
this picture happen?
and I just happened to be wearing the tour shirt that day too,
Yay.
just the way it happened. So, this was on the Saturday. It was the day I was leaving Cape Town. So this is Saturday. The concert was Tuesday. I booked this cooking tour in a little neighborhood of Cape Town called Bocap, and we started this cooking tour out, and they bring us around to these different places before we went to their house to do the cooking, not Dave's house, the tour group's house. And we were in the spice market, and he's bringing us down this aisle. He's showing us like all these different spices that we're going to be using, explaining them and everything. And this woman comes running over, and my tour guide, his name is Zed, and she comes over and she's like, Zed, I thought that was you, and gives him a big hug. And I was like, it's this like short little lady, and I was like, oh, this is really weird. So I was just like, where did this lady come from? I turn around, and 2 feet behind me is Dave Matthews, standing 2
What
feet.
was your reaction
Like
when you...
closer than my dresser is right there. He was he was so close to me. And of course, I'm wearing this shirt, and it has like the tour dates on the back, and I'm like,
He knew
and like
before
looking back on it, I'm like, I wonder what he was thinking when he saw me.
He was like,
we're
yep,
in this spice market.
Yep.
This little spice market. I'm the only person who knows who he is. Nobody else knows. No one. He's in his plain clothes. He was doing his shopping and stuff, and
Yeah.
I'm the only one. I turn around, I'm looking at his face, like face to face with him, and within 3 seconds, about 300 times in my head, I go, "It's Dave Matthews. It can't be Dave Matthews. No, it is Dave Matthews. It can't be Dave Matthews."
Am I
I
imagining
never
this?
expected to turn around in a store, and there he is.
Yes.
So
what do you say? Like, do you say something?
Well, you know how we all play it out in our head. We're like, when I meet them, this is how it's going to go down. But like usually you have a feeling that you might meet them at or maybe you have a meet and greet. You're like,
yeah.
not. So I turn around and I was like, I'm sure my eyes went huge when I saw him, and I stepped up to him because I had to get a little bit closer, and I said, "Thank you so much for the awesome show the other night. And thank you for coming back to South Africa." And I honestly don't even know what he said back to me. I'm sure he said thank you. Like, he was super nice. He's super nice to me. And I'm just like, I can't even believe this is happening. And of course I was like, "Can we get a picture?" And he's like, "Of course." And he gets the picture, and like my friends are like, "Look at his arm. It's like right up around your body." And I'm like, I don't care. I don't care.
He gave you a tight hug.
Whatever he wants. He can do whatever he wants. I take a picture with him. The woman that ran up to my tour guide took Dave's wife on the tour back in January, February of 2023.
Okay. Huh.
So that's why she ran up to him, because she had been on the tour previously with Dave's wife. And so the tour guide, not knowing who this man is that I'm like, manhandling, being like, "Please take a picture," looks at them and he goes, "Do you want to come back and cook with us?" And I think my jaw went to the floor, and I was like, What? It didn't happen. They said, "No, we have our own plans." I don't know if I would be able to handle it if he spent a couple hours with us. Yeah. So we took our pictures, and again, I was just like so thankful to him, and I just said I've had a great trip, and this country is amazing, and just thank you for coming down here. And he goes and leaves, and I just watch him. He's at the counter checking out, and I'm just staring at him because I just can't believe I'm in like the same space, and nobody knows.
Like, what did he buy?
I think just spices, because they were doing some cooking, and I was just staring at him. So my tour guide's like, "Who was that you just took a picture with?" And I pointed to my shirt. I was like, "He's the whole reason I'm here." I was like, "That was Dave Matthews." And he looks at me and he goes, "It was?" And he ran over to me so he could get a selfie with him. But he didn't know. That's who it was.
Of course, yeah. Not everybody knows who. It seems crazy, but not everybody knows who Dave Matthews is.
Yeah, I mean, especially in Cape Town.
Anywhere, I think. I don't know.
He's big here. I don't even know if I saw him again, in such a casual, normal, everyday place, I would be like, oh my God, there he is again. Because it's like taking someone, putting them where you don't expect them to be.
Oh yeah, that's weird. That is a weird feeling. Yeah, like.
And then I sent a picture out to our South Africa group chat, and everyone's like, "What? What just happened?" I'm like, "Yeah, it was great. It was the last day of the trip, and like I was sad to leave, and I'm like, everything happens for a reason. I was meant to be on the tour.
Yes.
At this point, just to meet him, and yeah." I keep that picture next to my bed. It doesn't usually sit up there. It's on my nightstand, actually.
Oh well, hell yeah! Wake up, look at you. You're a single girl. I mean, obviously, clearly, he's married, but like a girl can look. My eyes ain't blind. I ain't blind. I can look. I can see. I can thank God for His creations.
Yeah, I gotta remember that memory.
Well, hell yeah, you do, because. Yeah, pictures are a beautiful thing because they can take us back to moments that are hard to remember. We have so much in our brains and so much that is happening and so many things that are continue to happen. So let's close by talking briefly about 2024. Obviously, well, not obviously. So right now, as we are recording, the band is still in Europe. They will be there through the very first part of May. So by the time you hear this podcast, the band is going to be back into the United States, where they will be shortly starting their U.S. tour, which is May 21st, I think, is my guess, without looking at paper, somewhere in May, May 22nd, somewhere, something. Anyways, they're going to be opening in Tampa and doing a pretty heavy summer tour in the United States with hardly any break between Europe and the United States. So are there some exciting things coming up for 2024? Or, for me, like if I had gone to South Africa, that kind of would have just eaten not only my PTO, but like any vacation money that I could have had for a while. So like, what does 2024 look like for you?
So for me, luckily my vacation time re-ups in May. So just in time.
Oh, awesome. Just in time.
So I have Tampa and West Palm.
Yes.
So 3 shows right off the bat. Then I'm shooting for SPAC Night 2 if I can get a day off of work. So I'm hoping, I don't have a ticket yet or anything, but I'm hoping for that. I'm hoping to get an inside seat for that venue. And then I have my home venue, Mansfield, July 12th. July 13th, I have the Dave Matthews Tribute Band. Gotta throw them in there, too. And then...
I'm about to talk a lot about them in some upcoming episodes.
Then Camden Night 1. I'm going to volunteer with Reverb for that one.
Yay, thank you for doing that.
Yep. And then The Gorge, first time.
Oh, wow. Oh, I can't wait to watch your journey, literally your pilgrimage to the Gorge, because talk about the other side of the country. It's literal for you, being where you are and going to Washington. It is very far. So
it's not South Africa far, but it's America far.
But it is, from coast to coast. So if you could just sum that up with like, what is it that keeps you coming back for more? And I like that question because, of course, it is a line from the song The Space Between from the Dave Matthews Band. So what is it in closing that keeps you coming back for more when it comes to this band that is still putting out music after 30 years?
It's the feeling you get when you walk into that venue, the anticipation of waiting for them to start, the people that you're with. It's just for that time that you're at that show, that's the only thing that matters, is that music, the people you're with, and just watching them enjoy themselves so much, even though they've been doing this since 1991. Just the fact that they're always still, every single show, so happy to be out there and the joy in their face just to keep bringing this music to us every single year after year after year. It's just, you're chasing that feeling every time of that concert and walking into that venue and just, you can feel the electricity in the air. Like that's like, I just love that feeling. And like every single show, it's there. No matter where it is in the world, that feeling is just, it's what I look forward to the most. I'm starting to feel it again now, just thinking about it. I just love them. I love hearing them, and I just love everything they bring. So it's them. It's their attitude. It's their charisma. They keep bringing me back every time.
Yeah, I mean that's a good solid answer. Of course, we all love this band, and that's what this podcast is about. Is just the people that love this band the most, the fans of the Dave Matthews Band. So Jen, I can't thank you enough for spending some time with me. I know this podcast was a little bit long, and it's funny because Jen and I talked about this before I hit the record button. I was like, well, I really do like to try to keep it within, 30, 45 minutes, somewhere 45 minutes to an hour. And she was like, we could talk for 6 hours, and I was like, literally. I know that we have, we have enough content to talk about for sure, but we just have enough stories and fun little rabbit holes that we enjoy going down. So thank you for hanging on for an hour and a half with me and Jen. So guys, be sure to stay tuned every week, or, during tour season. My guess is that we are going to be doing a lot more than one a week, because the Space Between podcast is co-hosting a few parties in the United States. I am so excited to be somewhat back on the road again. It's kind of one of those things that's turned out to, you go into every year and you're like, I want to do a few things. And I still really feel like I'm doing a few things. But of course, the Space Between podcast will be at Tampa for the opening show. I'll be co-hosting the Night Zero party, which you can find more information on any social media page, or of course on my website. And then, we head to West Palm Beach, Florida, where I will be doing another Night Zero party there. I will be skipping the, what is it? What is after West Palm Beach? Jacksonville has a 2-night show, but I'm skipping that one because it's midweek, and so I've got to fly back to Arkansas so I can drive to Houston, Texas, which is close to the Woodlands, where I will be co-hosting not only a Night Zero party, but a day of parties. So the Space Between is going to be out all over the United States. Some more surprises to come. I think I just booked an appearance for the Space Between in New York, but we'll talk about that soon, because Jen, you already know. But yeah, the Space Between is doing some traveling these days, and it's exciting. It's really exciting. So stay tuned. There's always something exciting happening on the Space Between, and that's just because the fans of this band are serious, diehard people. We love this music, and we're just so happy that it continues to be a thing that we have, because we know that life is short but sweet for certain. So guys, thanks for listening to the Space Between. Stay tuned on all the socials, and in the meantime, peace, love, and Dave Matthews Band. Thank you so much, Jen.